Cheers. Quick video about what I use to control my elements in my boil pot. I have two 2400 watt elements that I use that work fine, just out of household jugs they were. $7 each, $7.50 each. But they work great. But two of them going all the time is too much. I have a 40-gallon pot that I boil in. I'll show you something. Show it. And when I have up to my 32 litres and they're both going, it's pouring out the sides. So I had to control one of them. I used to just unplug the cords for one and leave one going and plug it in and plug one. And I thought I would get a controller. I was going to build one. And I started sourcing parts and diagrams and things, but I found one in my local brew shop, Kettle, and I thought that will do fine. It ended up being cheaper to buy one than to make one. I just want to say, before you go fiddling with wires, I've been formally trained as a digital technician, so I'm allowed to play with things legally on this side of the PowerPoint, on our side of the PowerPoint. If you don't know what you're doing, get somebody else to do it that does. I'll give you a look now. That's the little unit there. It's very simple. It's got a variable resistor there, a pot, resistor and a couple of capacitors. And the heat sink to take the heat. And all it does, it gets wired into the active. So it's as easy as getting an extension lead. And all I've done is carefully removed maybe 4 inches, 5 inches, 10 centimetres, 12 centimetres of the outer casing, protective casing. Very careful not to cut the wires. I've left those 2 wires whole and just split the active, which is brown in Australia, and hook it into there. And that's as simple as plug the element, plug that into the power, the element into the other end, and you've got control over it. Now they would be very easy to make, but that unit there only cost me $20 from Kettle here in Victoria, Australia, and by the time I bought the circuit board, printed the circuit board and bought all the components, I'd spend $20 anyway, easily. So it was just cheaper to buy the unit. It also makes the job a lot quicker. Now when I eventually put this into a case, which might be just something as simple as this lunchbox, put a hole for the pot. I'd get some stick-on feet, put on the bottom there, stick that to the bottom in there, stick that to the bottom in there with the knob sticking out, of course. I'll cut the wires through, get a proper wire joiner for these two, and drill a hole in either side of this. Run the wire through there, put the unit in the middle, the wire out the other side, and that's just for safety. Just to say, you know, if you get water splashed on it or whatever. But that's it there. Okay, I'll just do the demo. My boil pot with some water so you can see it properly. That's with both elements on full. Oops, steaming. There's my controller. As I turn one down, see it works. It's turned right down. Oop, get steamed up, turn it up. Turn it down a bit. And I find something like that, once this is full with wort, I get a nice boil that I can control. Turn it back up. And it works really well because in this pot, it's a 40 litre pot. Or so they say, that's what I was sold it as, but my 32 litres comes up to about there. So if I don't have control, it's very easy to get boil overs. Okay, well that's it. It works really well for me. I haven't had any problems. I can leave it sit there once it's boiling nicely and I don't have to touch it again. I can turn it up as the boil pot gets a bit lower if you want a really fierce boil going in there, but it works fine. Better get a beer. Cheers. This is my Galaxy IPA. A bit of an experiment again. I've been experimenting a lot with IPAs lately. It's just about all I brew. They had 100 grams of Galaxy flowers. Well, 30 grams at about 10 minutes, I think it was. 30 grams at flame out and 40 grams dried hop. I'll put the recipe down there for this as well, Galaxy IPA. It's nice, very pineapple-y. That's what Galaxy is supposed to be. Alright, hope you learned something. Cheers.